All right, y'all, we are live inside the DC newsroom here. I'm here with Kyle on this Friday, February 9th, finally Friday. Guys, we are preempting the week of love next week. It's Valentine's Day next week. Did you know that?
All you need is love.
Next Wednesday already, so we're talking about that. In fact, I got my chocolate on hand to show you guys. But it is actually National Pizza Day today. I will tell you, the morning show, let's bring it into the studio here, had all this pizza lined up. Everybody scarfed it down. I didn't get any.
I only got a piece and a half. Everybody was so amped to go ahead and get the pizza. It was good. I didn't know it was National Pizza Day, so I got it.
I missed it, and pizza is my favorite food in the world. If it's yours too, let me know. But anyway, we had some coming out of the oven. There was like a mishap. I didn't get any pizza, but I'm really, really glad to be here today. Lots of interesting stuff kind of just popping in the news. The Easter egg roll, the annual roll for Easter week happens on April 2nd this year at the White House, and today at noon the tickets are released. Okay. So people are going to be kind of vying for that, and you know, they have to get on a list, and there's a whole waiting thing, and whoever gets picked gets to do it. So that's kind of cool. So if we have any live footage of sort of anything that's going on with that at the White House, we'll bring it to you. But right now, not a lot of video coming in. I know yesterday was totally dominated by the Eagles victory parade and ceremony in Philadelphia. Did you guys catch that? If anybody was on the stream yesterday, let me know what you thought. If you're from Philly, props to your team. I was watching it the whole day. I don't know, were you around? Did you get to
I didn't, but I know some friends that I knew actually went down there. They enjoyed the whole parade. It was crazy. Fans were everywhere.
You had some friends over there?
Yeah, some friends were there. The only thing you saw was just green, and green.
So much green. I mean, there were some funny tweets that came out of it. You know, there were some drunken moments and a lot of different things, but it was interesting because I literally was sitting here, you know, manning our cameras and kind of bringing in different feeds of stuff from our sister station in Philly, and we just wanted to get different angles of it, and the security and the ceremony and everything that happened. And there was some funny stuff that happened, obviously some language and like hilarious moments, but it was all, you know,
it happens when you're in the field of fun. Anything can happen during the field of fun.
Super Bowl winner. So anyway, that dominated yesterday. So I hope you were able to kind of jump on that stream.
Look who it is.
Social media. She's gonna help me out a little bit.
Hydrate.
Okay. Always stay hydrated. All right. Hey.
I'm telling you, I'm already getting ready for all my chocolate that I'm consuming. It's all over my desk. All my Dove chocolates. All my.
I need some chocolate too.
I'm ready for next week, man. I love the Valentine's Day stuff. All right, so if you're on with us, let us know where you're from, where you're watching from. I know everybody's from everywhere. We had so many awesome people on for a couple streams ago for the Falcon Heavy launch, the Elon Musk rocket. Was so cool. So many people from all over the world, which is so fun. And now it's really great to just have you guys on. And if you're regulars, thanks for subscribing to us. This is our channel here, Fox of DC, on our YouTube channel. And you can pick us up any day. We're here Monday through Friday, just giving you the local scoop.
That's what we do.
So let's talk, because I don't have anything really pressing news-wise. Besides a little bit of update on what was happening in Philly. Police are kind of updating the follow from the Super Bowl parade, like what, if anything, happened. We'll give you that in a little bit, just to give you a little recap of yesterday. But while I have you, Kyle, let's talk a little social and entertainment. You were out for a little bit.
Yes.
You just came back. You were traveling.
Yes. I just came back from the Mr. HBC competition, so shout out to all the kings who participated. I participated in it as well, of course. Unfortunately, I didn't get the title, but I got Mr. Congeniality, so that means personality, leadership, and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
so
explain really quick HBC. Explain what it is for our viewers.
Okay, so the Mr. HBCU competition is when several kings from different HBCUs come together to compete for that one title.
Which is historically black colleges and universities.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So
come out from all over the nation.
Yes. So we was 15. Cool. Well, 12 of us. 12 of us who participated. Shout out to Lamoy Owen College. He is Mr. HBCU, so he won. Shout out to all the kings, but it was really fun. We learned a lot. We had workshops. Got to know each other as kings well. We came to brotherhood and stuff like that with it as well.
Okay.
So it was really, really good. My Bowie State, my school, they came and supported. A lot of other schools came to support it as well.
Yep.
And it's just a beautiful thing.
Fun.
So now we're waiting for CI. So now we'll come together for the CIAAs, which is the basketball tournament that'll be coming up in March.
So fun.
So,
Can I just say I'm so excited for basketball season 2. It's so exciting. I'm glad you're back too. And just in case you don't know, Kyle is an intern here for the semester.
Yes.
So we did a little travel, has come back and is helping me on the digital station here for a little bit. So you've been in and out, but definitely my go-to when it comes to the 4 and music and entertainment and TV that so many of us don't get to catch up on often enough as we want to. I'm telling you, I love TV, but I just don't stay in the loop as much as I want to.
That's why we're a tag team. We're going.
Dude, you always have it for me. But really quick, so basically what happened? This was the show that's been on Fox 5 for many weeks.
Yes.
It finally concluded last night with an ultimate winner, and it's another one of those music singing shows that people love, which I think are awesome to showcase talent and obviously to bring someone from the bottom to stardom, which is so cool. And the winner actually did a talk back with Holly this morning on our morning show. So we have the ultimate winner. But do you want to recap a little bit about the segment?
Yes, like I said, like you basically said everything, but the 4 was amazing. We went from the 4 to the 1 last night, and like you said, we have the interview with the winner. But before we say who the winner was, if you don't know, I'm gonna give you a recap, like you said. So you had Savia, Candace, Vincent, and Evie. They all killed it. Like, they all brought the A game. I was watching it literally just like I was there, screaming, yelling. I was in tune. Highlights up to performances. What they had to do was they had to compete. They all competed. Then the judges voted who was the winner of the round. The first round winner was Evie. So she got to choose who she wanted to compete against, and it was Savia. She said, "I'm only choosing Savia because I want to win. I know I can beat Savia." So they competed, and Candace and Vincent competed. So once they competed and stuff and everything, Evie won. She beat Savia. She sung Proud Mary, which everybody's talking about the performance. She killed it from the dance. She surprised me with the dance moves, and her voice is so powerful. Diddy says he could definitely see her in Bad Boy Entertainment.
Yeah.
So she beat Savia, and Candace and Vincent competed. Vincent's voice is amazing, especially when he sung Creep. If you guys get to see that, he sung the song Creep, and
Radiohead's cover.
Yes. To me, he sounded better than the original artist Radiohead.
Interesting.
He added his own flair to it, and he killed it. But unfortunately, when they did the battle rounds, his second song wasn't as strong, and Candace won. So at the end, it was Evie versus Candace.
Wow.
And so they competed. Candace was like a Rihanna type of flow, because everybody was singing a lot of Rihanna songs. But at the end of the day, Evie won, and Evie took the crown. Evie killed it. Her family was happy, and I think she deserved to win. She
ultimately won the whole thing, and now she's launched. And do you know kind of what they said for her next steps? I mean,
iHeartRadio, you definitely get a segment with Dom. They play your music, and usually, and she signed to a label. I don't remember what label it was, but one thing about a lot of shows is once you win, they wonder what happens next. But now she has a definite recording label contract, and she gets to play on iHeartRadio and gets to perform at the iHeartRadio Music Festival, which a lot of artists don't get to perform to all the time. So she'll definitely have a following. Her records will get played a lot for her to get attention instead of just winning the show and we don't know what happens next. So I know she's happy. I could definitely listen to her music. I'm sure a lot of people will listen to her music as well because, again, the girl can sing.
So cool. And maybe
she can sing.
There might be even a little clip in this interview that we pulled. So let's show that now because she had such an awesome, humble reaction to her win. And she was just like, this is, you know, I came from this and now I'm it was awesome.
She's from Memphis, I think.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I didn't listen to every single word of it. Let's play it out and check out the winner from last night.
Here it is.
First champion last night. And the finale shocked some fans.
But I really feel that we found something special that I haven't seen in a long time. And her name is Evie.
20-year-old Evie McKinney was a relative newcomer on the show. She didn't show up until week 5, but she outlasted fan favorites like Javaya and Candace Boyd to become iHeartRadio's new On the Verge artist. And this morning, the new star is joining us live from LA with more on last night's grand finale and what's next. Good morning to you, superstar. Congratulations.
Good morning, Holly.
How are you feeling this morning?
I feel so good. I feel like I just walked into a blessing.
Let me tell you, let's go back to last night's show a little bit because early on you made a statement. Because when you sang Proud Mary, let me just tell you, I envisioned someone going, Tina, calling Tina Turner on the phone and going, Tina, turn on Fox because you have got to see this girl.
Oh my goodness.
Did you have a feeling? I mean, because the reaction from the judges, from everyone in the studio was absolutely overwhelming and amazing. Did you have a feeling that early on in the show that, hey, you know what, tonight might be mine?
Yes, I did. And the reason why is because even before the show, before we did the show, I changed my song at the last minute. I was gonna audition, I was gonna perform for my just opening number as a solo artist, as one of the 4. I was gonna perform I Feel Good by James Brown, but Proud Mary, I was fighting for that song because I said, I want to win. And I kept telling the producers, I want to win. I want to win. I got to win. If you want me to just be regular, I can do, you know, just a song like that, a feel-good song. But I said, I want to win. I got to dance. I got to whip my hair. I got to kick my legs. I got to stomp if I need to.
I got to make this gold jumpsuit work because it was gorgeous.
Thank you.
How was it between the 4 of you last night, though, heading into the competition?
It was very intense. It was very intense. And I actually kind of cried after I chose to challenge Javaya because I told them, I was just like, I love y'all. And if it wasn't up to me, I really wouldn't challenge neither one of y'all. I really wouldn't. But I had to challenge Javaya because I wanted to win.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. So what's the number one thing you learned from this show that you think literally was life-changing for you?
Something that I learned from this show that is life-changing for me is being aware of how people motivate you and how you motivate yourself. And by that, I mean, my life changed, whole life, Holly, whole life changed in 2 weeks. My whole life, everything I've been doing in routine for 20 years has all of a sudden changed, and I just walked into a blessing with the best people in the music industry. It don't get no better than working with P. Diddy. It don't get no better with working with DJ Khaled or having Meghan Trainor, the amazing, the beautiful Meghan Trainor to work with you and to be in the studio with you, you know. So I learned that as long as I'm motivating myself, as long as I'm staying positive and working hard and keeping the faith in God, I know that it's not many more no's that I'm gonna get in my life.
Well, I tell you, Diddy said you were fearless. Megan said that was single-handedly the best performance of the entire season. This is just the beginning for you, superstar.
Yes.
As I said off the top, we wish you nothing, nothing but the best of luck. We know we're going to hear a lot more from you. All right, Evie, take care.
Thank you.
And
so that was the interview from this morning with the winner, Evie. She looked amazing, and she was very emotional about her win, of course. Very real, I thought. And we saw a little bit of the snippets there of her performances. Now, not the full volume on her songs, but I was noting, you know, she seems like such a powerful singer, singing some just amazing, obviously, hits that really need to be done right.
Yes.
And she was debating between Tina Turner's Proud Mary and James Brown.
I think the Tina Turner one was the best choice.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I feel good. Then I could see her singing that, but the Tina Turner with the dance moves, with the hair, with the jumpsuit, she gave me life.
So good.
And yeah, a lot of people talking about, you know, a lot of these artists, you know, who on the show. I think the Final Four, no matter who won or lost, they all have exposure. You know, Savia is only 16.
Oh, really?
Savia is only 16 years old. I found that out yesterday. I was like, wow, for a 16-year-old, her voice is amazing. Imagine when she gets 20 like Evie.
So true. I was going to say exposure is everything now. Right?
Yes.
Right? It's everything all the time.
Savia reached almost 1 million followers, so she's definitely got the following. She definitely has the people looking at her in her ear and everything. So I wish them all the best. And we can't wait to hear more from them soon.
Super exciting for them.
Yeah.
What happens with the show now? Does it go into next season?
Season 2 is coming out soon. So right when the season ended, it was already posts about auditions. So if you guys want to audition.
And so it is happening in the moment, right? It's not pre-taped. So it goes.
Some of it seems like it's pre. I don't think it's live.
Some of it though.
But you never know. The next season may be live, but depending on the schedule and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be live, but they're probably doing auditions probably coming up within a few months and then airing it and filming it and then air it next year.
It's so fun to follow it. I don't know if you guys follow the show or if you're interested in it, but really cool. It airs on Fox. And, you know, it's all around. So
we'll be watching and give you guys a scoop.
I love it. Good stuff. Thanks, Kyle.
No problem.
What else is happening now? We, like I said, we're kind of quiet today on this Friday, kind of looking around for what's happening. We want to keep you guys posted on anything that's live and breaking. We're gonna do in a little bit a recap with our very own senior producer for the morning show, Chris, who was up in Philadelphia for the parade yesterday.
Great, yes,
in the moment, I was trying to get his stuff, and I was like, maybe I can coordinate with him. But you heard from Erin, our traffic features reporter anchor. She is from Philadelphia as well, and she got to sit down with me and kind of watch the parade and talk a little bit about it. But I haven't actually gotten the recap with Chris in person yet. So when he comes down, we're gonna try to grab him and talk a little bit more about what yesterday was like, which was a really fun day. But other than that, I don't know. We're gearing up for Valentine's Day next week and
50
going
Shades,
into the weekend.
50 Shades free.
Anybody a fan of the 50 Shades? I guess trilogy
Wisdom
now?
Wisdom said he is not a fan.
So the new one is 50 Shades Freed. Obviously, you know, it's been known for the book being kind of like, you know, it's erotic literature.
It's known for its sex scenes.
Known for its sex, but also, you know, maybe bad acting. People say. I don't really know. I never actually finished or read the book. I didn't see the first one. Are you familiar? I
did see the first one, and I did end up watching the second one.
You did?
I watched it on my laptop. It was randomly one.
Okay.
I was just chilling. They were good, but look who it is, the dancing machine itself.
Oh,
Tony Perkins.
There he is.
Hey, hit him with the dab, man. But yes. Yeah, Tony.
Now,
he's live.
formerly, if you know his face, maybe you're from around here. Formerly on nights, now on Friday mornings with us and Saturday mornings, and then doing his radio show in the other days.
Donnie Simpson.
So really fun.
Weekdays
Yeah, you love
from
it.
3 to 7.
Great stuff. Great radio. He's so great with comedy and music. So happy to have him around. It's so funny. I love watching you know, the topics he covers because he knows that stuff and he's just so funny and witty with it. I love it.
But he actually did the Celebrity Dish this morning. And speaking about Celebrity Dish and news, he talked about Kim Kardashian and Northwest.
What was the big drama with that?
So
let's see it.
It was basically like controversy going around because Northwest took a picture of Kim Kardashian topless, but she was covered up, but I mean she was topless. So people were saying, why would you have your daughter taking a picture and you posting that of your daughter taking a picture of you topless?
The controversy was that her daughter took it. Yeah.
What do you think? I don't know.
I think people need to take their time in their lives and do better things than
Holly this morning said, "Don't worry about it." I mean, find something else to worry about.
I agree.
Yeah,
like let's think about other things. Some people are kind of like, "Oh, I'm all into that celebrity news." Some people don't care.
With Kim Kardashian, it's like I think now she's really embracing that name that people gave her. Not saying the shamey name, but you know, she's found her brand and she's marketing herself that way. She just dropped the cover of a Vogue shoot she just did.
She did? It looked really
good. And the
good.
Yeezy line that came out with Paris Hilton, the Clemens twins, like a lot of things going on with the Yeezy family.
I saw that, and actually the way they did Kim's makeup for this Vogue shoot was more mature. She looked a little older, but distinguished. It's a really neat look for her.
But she's still going back to her provocative ways, but you know, that's how her brand really is. You know, she's like that sex symbol type of thing.
No, it is.
So like a little Jessica Rabbit type of, you know.
Remember her tribute to Bo Derek?
Yes, I do.
Yes. Which also made, you know, celebrity news. We were talking about that in the dish.
And she's making herself relevant. So, I mean, she's doing something because we're talking about it, right?
Right.
We're talking about it.
That's exactly what Wisdom always says. Well, then it's in the news, you know, we're chatting.
So the Kardashians, and speaking about Kylie and the baby.
Her baby. This is interesting. So the most liked now photo, I believe, of all of
Should be Beyonce. Yep. 14 million.
I thought it was almost 15.
Well, no, it changed. Okay, well, we're close.
We gotta find it. I'll look it up. But so you know, that's been a hot topic, right? What's the most liked photo of all time on Instagram? And it was Beyonce with her twins, or the one where she was pregnant with her twins.
Yes.
And now it is Kylie Jenner and her baby. In that big reveal that she kept secret for 9 months, you know, it was a big thing in that celebrity kind of gossip news, and that was a really interesting thing that they could keep that under wraps was fascinating to me.
Yeah. No, there was some leaked pictures, but like even when they did, the sisters still went out on interviews, especially when Chloe went on Ellen. Ellen's like, she's pregnant. And Ellen has a way of just saying things that make you like admit to it, but Chloe did good. Ellen, yes. Happy belated birthday.
Yeah. So now there's this beautiful picture of her with her finger in the baby's hand, and it has the most of all.
Yes.
Which is amazing.
And I saw some comments on this. Some people are like, why are we comparing people and the baby? Why does it matter? Let them live. I'm like, in this day and age, it's all about the likes and who gets the most followers and stuff like that. So, I mean,
Insta, that life. Yeah, I mean, and it's fun to follow that, you know, whether or not you follow the family, it's a notable thing that she has the most now.
Definitely.
But, yeah, we're getting ready for the Winter Olympics opening ceremonies tonight as well. That's exciting, right?
Yes.
I'm actually going to be at a place where there are a lot of TVs. I'll be doing something else, working actually in another capacity, but I'll be trying to glance up to catch it because really cool this year. I mean, some of the notable stuff, it's North Korea and South Korea will be sort of united under one flag, which came out, you know, a month or so ago, which is interesting.
Unity.
Russia is under that neutral kind of symbol flag because of their the allegations about the doping that they went through, and they have to kind of do this now. And so there's some news, you know, to be talked about tonight, but I think it'll be cool to see that. It's always one of my favorites. I love to get people together to watch it. Unfortunately, I'll be doing something when it's on, so I'm hoping to catch it. But it's kind of a cool night, you know, bringing the world together. And some celebrities, of course, a lot of journalists and celebrity journalists are out there in Korea to cover this. Yeah. So I've been following a lot of their stuff, and that's kind of fun. It's going to
be amazing. I personally love when it gets to the track and field part of the Olympics, but the Winter Olympics is amazing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I have a favorite for winter. Let me know your favorites, guys. I mean, I've followed it throughout my childhood or whatever. Of course, figure skating has to be my favorite, but just as coming from that, like as a young teen. But it's been cool. It's been cool to follow over the years.
And one thing about the figure skating, since you brought it up, I just really like how they go with like the music wise. You know, the song choices they make. So I wonder if people are thinking like, what song? They may go to more hip hop this time.
It's so mixed.
Everything's changing.
And I love that. I love when people can express themselves through music, of course, as a music lover, and you too. And I love, some people will pick something from a relevant or like topical musical that they love, a Broadway show, something poppy, something more soul, ballad, whatever. And it's fun to see what people choose. Yeah, that'll be really cool.
Yeah, I can't wait. That gets my energy up. It gets me pumped.
It does. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it's Valentine's Day almost. And I can't believe it's National Pizza Day. If you're going to be celebrating, oh my goodness, celebrate for me, because I don't think I'm going to get pizza today. I missed out this morning.
I know, y'all. She missed out. She was downstairs.
You got a piece.
Yeah, I got a piece. I got a piece.
Small slice.
Right when the segment was over, everybody was upstairs. And when I came down my piece, you said, "Wait, the pizza?" You went upstairs and it was gone.
I missed it.
The pizza was really good though.
Oh my goodness.
So make sure if you guys haven't got a piece of pizza, make sure you go out and enjoy a fresh piece of pizza on National Pizza Day.
You better get a pizza pie tonight.
Yes.
Man, I love it. There's some funny stats about it too. It's like how many pounds, I think 23 pounds of pizza is what one person consumes on average in a year.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
It is, but you know what? We eat a lot. And pizza is a lot of things we like to eat. That's like the number one thing, especially because it's quick.
Yep.
You can order it, they deliver it to you, or you go pick it up.
Yep.
DiGiorno's is always good. You can put it in the oven and, bon appetit.
Everybody loves different styles. Oh my goodness. Are you working on anything else special today, Kyle? Are you bouncing around the newsroom? Or you got to go soon?
Oh, yeah, I do. I'll go around, help out, and just observe and learn as much as I can while I'm here.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm glad we had to do entertainment. There's a lot of entertainment going on, and stay tuned. Today is Friday. First of all, happy Friday, everybody. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll definitely have more news and entertainment from on Monday because I'm sure it's gonna be an eventful weekend.
Yes, definitely. I hope everybody has a good, safe weekend. I mean, we're not done yet, but it's true. Things happen on the weekend. They pop open, and then we talk about them on Monday.
Yeah.
But all right, let's go back to. I'm just going to throw you over to this live footage right now of city officials in Philadelphia providing a little more information on how things went yesterday. Checking in. If anybody was there for it or caught our stream yesterday, let us know. We're going to have Chris hopefully coming down here shortly to tell about his experience.
I'll go get him for you.
He took an early bus. Yeah, I think he's in a quick meeting, but we'll grab him. Took an early bus, came back, and he has the first-hand scoop on what that was like. And as a native and Philly fan, he has a good sort of recap of what all happened, and we can chat about it. So I think we'll have some fun with that. So for now, let's go over to these officials. They're providing an update on what the parade was like and what happened. I didn't see anything crazily destructive. I mean, we didn't see any major things. I mean, there was some drunken revelry, of course, as there should be. But
they was excited about a win and Justin Timberlake, I guess.
Oh, man. Okay. All right, let's check in here, guys. This is live in Philadelphia. Officials talking about the parade. All right.
But other than that, it was fine. Not at the moment. I mean, I think you can't put a price on the psychic benefit that we experienced, and that we can actually win well and win respectably and celebrate respectfully. So I'm sure we can try to figure out some number, but I mean, I'm sure the restaurants and bars did well. SEPTA was paid for already by Blue Cross. I'm sure there were a number of hotel rooms that were taken up as a result of the parade as opposed to normally. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure there was a positive impact, but psychically, you can't put a price on what yesterday meant for us as a city. I don't think anything. I think it pretty much went off without a hitch. I mean, there were some minor hiccups here and there, but I think in general, it was well done and well. I mean, when I looked out from the steps at the crowd, I could not get over. And that's the same thing with the crowd estimates. I mean, the Phillies estimate was 1 million plus. There were more people there than the Phillies parade, so it couldn't. The 700,000 number. I mean, I'm sure it's a reputable firm, but I probably think there was more than that. But I think there's odds and ends that we learn, and we'll apply them next year, God willing. But I don't think that much actually. Know what? Right. We're having conversation. We need to do a full accounting of what was spent and what the costs were, and then we'll have that conversation. But you can't accomplish that within one day of the parade. About 10 days or so, 2 weeks. Yeah. Citywide. That's the normal. I get the OEM text message in the morning, and it's in that range. And they do the AMS runs, and then fire, the actual fires or responses to fire calls. So it's a little higher, but in the same range.
Like I said, I'm just kind of getting myself back into the real world, so I'm taking one moment at a time. Right now, I'm savoring the moment from yesterday, and our offices are closed today, and we'll deal with everything down the road. But right now, our focus is just on getting through yesterday, enjoying that moment, savoring it for as long as I can, and getting back into the real world. Thanks. Pardon? Not yet. Hey, John, can you get an
I'm gonna save Charlie.
All right, guys, we're back in studio here with Chris, which I promised you, who was at the parade yesterday.
I was at the parade. I survived.
Oh my goodness.
I made it back.
And let me just put this up, Eagles Parade wrap up. Okay, so we pulled up his Instagram. We have a couple other videos that, you know, we showed most of it yesterday, Carson Wentz speaking, everybody. We tried to just jump around and take as many camera angles as we could of this parade. But, so tell us your story. Start from the beginning. You went up yesterday. Philly native.
I did go up. So I had booked a 6 a.m. bus. It was supposed to get me to 30th Street Station right around 9:30.
Okay.
As soon as I got to Union Station and waited in line, I knew I was in good company because everyone was wearing their Eagles gear and everyone had like coolers and backpacks and they were like, they came ready to party.
Bus,
exactly.
everything.
So everybody was ready. So we made great time. Stopped in Baltimore, picked up a few more fans. Yeah. Made our way. So I mean, the city shut down. So every road besides the ones where the parade route was actually going was just, I mean, 76, which is like one of the main highways up there, was completely empty. So we made great time. Got right up there. I met my brother at 30th Street Station.
Oh, great.
And
he lives there in Philly.
He lives in Philly. So bathrooms were kind of in high demand yesterday, as you can imagine.
Oh, everywhere in the city, right?
Everywhere, exactly.
Oh my God.
So 30th Street Station was one of the places that had public restrooms.
Of course.
So by the time I just got off the bus, there were already thousands of people just swarming that place.
Makes sense. That's such a beautiful train station, by the way.
It is.
Love
it's
it.
great.
Oh
And
my
that's
goodness.
exactly where that helmet was, actually.
let's show
That's
it.
in 30th Street Station.
Right
so
here. So you got,
exactly.
did you get a fan to take a pic for you?
I
Your brother?
I made my brother do it.
Yeah, of course.
You had to. This is the
Exactly.
moment I've been waiting for.
Look at
Exactly.
this. This is great. So finally,
that was how the day started when we got up to Philadelphia.
I love
So we left the station, made our way down to City Hall, and I mean everybody was at
walk there from there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's only about 10 blocks.
That's
or
right.
so.
That's right. So everyone starts there.
Exactly. So all the Wawas lining it all the way down are already packed. Everybody's getting their sandwiches. And
They
everything.
probably making money that
They
day.
love
sure
the Philadelphia
were.
stuff. Yeah, so
Exactly.
that's another question I had. How much, well, this is like totally a recap of money-wise, but how much do you think businesses, I mean, was it overflowing? Was it amazing for the city?
Absolutely.
So people coming in, not only from, I guess from all over
I mean,
the area,
pretty much
outside
the tri-state
fans,
area, but a
flying
lot
back.
of people were coming in from out of town too, obviously, since the buses were. And I mean, in the train station, Union Station here was pretty crowded with people doing the 7 a.m. train to get up there by 9 a.m. So
Because tons of people are from Philly here even as well.
absolutely, a lot of transplants.
Okay, so you see them line the crowd, so then you kind of chill and then you hang out?
So what was beautiful was, I mean, the entire parade route was lined. I mean, it's a 5-mile route from the Lincoln Financial Field up to City Hall and then down to the Art Museum.
Okay.
So they had Jumbotron set up along the way, and they were playing the game again to get everybody pumped
right.
up.
You said
So
that.
that was cool because
Which
then
is
everybody
nuts.
was cheering on all the big plays and everything. Obviously, the Philly special was the big deal.
Wait, the play.
and
The play.
The
And
play.
speaking about, watching the game and
God.
recapping it and everything, like, where did you watch the game at?
I split my time a couple different places
Okay.
that night, but honestly, I was too nervous to watch it in a big crowd. So
Makes
I
sense.
eventually ended up at a bar with one other Eagles fan. We
Really?
sat by myself, yeah. So we sat at opposite ends of the bar. It was so dead inside that the manager closed it, just let us
No
stay,
way.
and we just had drinks until the end of the night. But he would just,
And
Yeah, go.
no, go ahead.
by all means.
And what did you think about the Super Bowl performance halftime show?
Oh, the halftime show? I liked it. I was listening to the game mainly, but he actually turned most of the volume off during the halftime show. So I was basically watching the closed caption but I did come back and watch it the next day, and I thought he did a good job.
So with the Philly special and the play, I thought the coolest point about that was that they found that clip with the mics up where Nick Foles
Kyle
had
shared
called
that today.
it. Oh yeah,
Philly.
originally
Carson Wentz comes over and
That's so interesting. What would he say? He imparted some.
yeah, he
wisdom?
basically they knew they were going to go for it. It was 4th and goal. Carson Wentz runs over to Nick
was
Foles and says
nuts.
Philly, and so they make that call that's what they wanted.
He made it. And
So
then
Carson
Nick
Wentz and
called
Nick
it.
Foles, so they called it, they ran it. And
So interesting.
they said, I watched an interview with Jay Ajayi on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and he said they only practiced it 3 times because they said if they did it anymore, they would have overthunk it, overthought it.
But that's the phrase, yeah.
But they said 3 times. They felt like they had it down, and they executed it perfectly.
That's insane.
So,
It was a really amazing game, and
It absolutely
and the
was.
parade was crazy yesterday. And Chris was there. And then what by way of Bud Light and alcohol stuff, what happened?
So, obviously, I got up there and I did a quick hit with the Good Day DC. So
Right,
I
it was
held
on
off
air.
for a little while. So I did not partake too early. But then as soon as that was over, we were like, all right, let's go find a bar. So there's, you know, bars all over lining that route, basically.
All swarmed?
All the ones we saw absolutely were. There were ones that had lines to get in. The bigger ones had lines to get in. So we eventually found one that wasn't too crowded because the parade had started by that point. So most of the people were hanging tight along Broad Street. So we got in there, had a couple drinks, watched the parade until we could see. It was like 4 or 5 blocks away from where we were. Then we booked it down to Broad Street, watched all the floats go by, watched the players go by. Everybody was rowdy but well behaved.
That's good. That's good
and excited. Everybody had a great time watching it go by, and the players were obviously so excited to celebrate with the city.
Did you get very close? Did you see the players? I mean, you saw them enough
it was
in eyes distance.
Absolutely. I mean, not even. We were, I would say, maybe 6 deep of bodies by that point, and then obviously, you know, they blocked off the sidewalks. So
I was going to say, it seemed, watching all the feeds, and we took in a lot of different angles, it seemed like it was relatively trying to be family friendly because people are coming with their families. Yeah, there's a lot of alcohol, but I don't know.
Well, admittedly, I will say, so like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to speak for all Philadelphians, but I mean, I think a lot of the kids there have witnessed a lot of things by a certain age, admittedly. So there were a lot of people. I mean, look, people weren't burning things down where I were. Great. They weren't trashing anything, but they were having a great time and they were excited to be there. And had obviously taken the entire day off and were probably still recovering today.
I know. I saw a lot of, we were noting that people had taken off work. There were schools, there were a lot of things that were closed. The museums obviously were closed, the bigger businesses.
The schools, obviously, like you said.
What a day for those bars and restaurants.
Absolutely. So I will say, so once the floats went by, we went back to the bar, and by this point, they had opened every level of it because originally it was just the first 2 that were open. Everybody packed in, and everybody was then watching the ceremony. So that got started a little late, like closer to like 1:30 instead of 1. And then it was shorter than I think we thought it was going to be too, because I think everybody was expecting more than just exactly. So I mean, to the players' credit, they kept it short and sweet. Jason Kelsey, obviously though, by the time he got up there in his mummer's costume, the entire bar was just going nuts. Everyone was yelling at the TV.
Explain the mummers thing again.
So the mummers is a New Year's tradition in Philadelphia where a bunch of drunk men dress up in their fanciest costumes. That's actually what they call it. And there's different brigades. There's the strings, etc., and the fancy brigade. And they march around. It's one of Philadelphia's oldest and, depending on who you ask, least proud traditions.
Have you ever partaken?
Well, I mean, these are like organizations of clubs, basically. They're clubs, so they're like a membership thing. So I have been there for it. And while it definitely does not in any way, shape, or form rival what happened yesterday, it is a yearly excuse to celebrate in a similar manner.
Okay, and just some more photos from your day.
Yeah, so this is right when the buses carrying the players were about to go by.
The confetti,
so they were
so much confetti.
blasting the confetti cannon. So where we were standing, directly across the street, there was a bank headquarters building, and people were obviously leaning out the windows of like every store, 20 stories, however tall this building is, and people were just throwing shredded paper out the windows too. So it was constantly raining down. And I didn't post this picture, but also shortly after this one, in the sky overhead, there was a plane with the smoke right in,
and it said
Philly and Dilly Dilly.
We didn't see the cameras tried to get. If you guys were on yesterday, you probably saw a brief moment of that.
That was cool. And then, so the Bud Knight was actually on the float with. I do think I included a picture on Instagram there. Well, maybe I didn't. It might have been on my story. There he is. So he was he was on he was on the bus with the players, not with the trophy though. But so here's the thing. So my brother actually texted me this morning. The bars we went to, we did not get any free drinks. But it obviously wasn't stopping anyone from celebrating. But yesterday and today, in 5 counties down by around Philadelphia and everything like that, if you buy a 6-pack of Bud Light, you can scan your receipt and they will reimburse you for the drinks that you bought.
So they're trying to honor what they said they were
absolutely honoring it.
I'm just thinking about how much money Bud Light, the bar, it was a gold mine that day.
I mean, no matter what, this was a great promotional thing.
So when the Redskins went down here in DC, I guess it would just be a whole big festival as well.
Well, Steve and I talked about that. We were just saying, love Redskins fans, love the city. I would love to see a parade here, but there are so many transplants in this city that I would be curious to see how packed it would get.
When the
But I know
Redskins-
people would be excited because it's been a long, long time.
When the Redskins win,
When the
it is going to be
Redskins win.
a party all week
good
long.
point.
Not day, but week, because we've been waiting for this for a long time.
Yeah, I've been waiting
Good
for it
point
for a long
about the locals here being kind of locals. Like they're from everywhere else. But granted, I mean, there would still be a
There
big
are still a
consortium
lot
of
of
it. There would
fans,
still be a lot of
obviously.
fans. I do wonder how it would be. How it would be.
So I
and
was
where.
too young to remember when they won it. Well, not remember. I wasn't in DC. Let's put it that way.
Right.
So
Or
I didn't
associated with it in any
exactly.
way.
So I don't know what the parade
Yeah.
was like then. So
Yeah, you wonder. But this was so cool. Philadelphia's first time.
First time.
And that was really interesting for you to see. You've been a lifelong fan.
Absolutely.
And it went relatively well. Like I was saying, I think a lot of journalists and
agree
media
with
were
that.
looking for things burning. They were looking for destruction. You know, we want that
Absolutely.
shot, but we didn't see it.
No, just
Granted,
the kind of the muddy leftovers and just the, there were some people who got a little.
there were some drunken moments. some
Exactly,
rivalry.
and people climbing on things and stuff like
on the
that. But
stoplights and stuff.
yeah,
So
but relatively
they
well
went ready.
behaved.
Lots of security around too. I noticed a good amount
Yes,
of
there
police
were.
even
There
in the
should be,
parade.
Yes,
it's
there
really
were.
safe.
Absolutely, they were keeping a close eye on things.
So that's good to see that people can celebrate, come together, and nothing crazy right now has
Responsibly,
happened.
exactly.
Yeah.
What a cool moment for the city, and hopefully it brought them a lot of, like I said, people coming in, money,
Absolutely,
happiness.
and also just more than
come
anything
together.
else, it was the pride that people had in the city and the team, and also, and you could tell, especially from Jason Kelson's speech and a few others, a lot of respect that the team has for the fans too, and just kind of the patience that they've had with the team, and also just kind of the diehard loyalty that they have for
Kelsey.
sure. Exactly.
You guys probably saw that he was dressed
Yeah.
up. And
So I imagine his
We took
speech
it unedited.
did. Yes, exactly.
we
so.
took it uncensored.
That's kind of,
because you just don't know what's going to happen.
That sums up the spirit of the city actually really, really well.
I could
though,
see
to be
that.
honest
Wasn't he
with
like
you,
he was kind of intoxicated? He was losing his voice, but he belted it out.
He did.
Did you catch it from a bar? Or were you close?
We
to
were
it?
watching at a bar at that
you
point.
went for the ceremony? 'Cause you can't- it's hard to see.
I mean, to make the trip from City Hall where we were to the art museum, people had been lined up at the art museum for hours
Makes
at that
sense.
point. Type of
The
a thing.
Rocky, as
and
you
then
know, art museum.
even it would have been even more difficult to get back at that point because once it ended, I had to catch a bus back.
You
so
did.
finishing my round trip, that's right.
Did you catch? We played it out on the show yesterday because we were trying to compile all the information. Sly Stallone had an Instagram post where he was like, "Guys,
Oh, really?
so happy." Yeah, we played it, and it was,
I
it was
didn't
cool.
get a chance to see that.
Someone had tipped me off too, so I was like, "Let me find it and show." You know, it's nice to see the notables kind of come out for this too.
Without a doubt. And right after the Super Bowl victory, Kelsey had also quoted Rocky Balboa,
That's
the movie,
right.
saying, and again, it's something that sums up the spirit of the city, which was, the quote was, "It's not how hard you can hit, but it's how hard you get hit and keep moving forward," which, that was nice.
Yeah,
That was nice.
really
It would have
good
been nice to
touch.
see a Sly Stallone,
appearance
yesterday, but
He had to send his love via
That would have put the
Insta.
icing on the cake.
that would have been awesome.
He probably would have should have teared.
And also the weather, did it phase you at all? Was it good? It's chilly here, but
It was cold, but
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
It was okay.
Yeah, it's one of the. I prepared for it, which I tend not to. But it was nice. Once you're down there, everybody, it's the adrenaline type of thing. It's the spirit. It's the
lots of spirit.
absolutely.
Takes your mind off the coldness.
I think
Exactly.
I used that word yesterday. I was like, if anything, this is very spirited because I mean, people were just
Spirited,
going
yes.
with their speeches. They were great, and there was a funny note too. The governor of Pennsylvania came,
Yes, he
and
did.
one of the anchors that we were taking the commentary for from Fox 29 in Philadelphia was like, "Take that, Pittsburgh."
Exactly.
Okay.
Although
Because
you
there's a
know he
little bit
would
of
have
a
been there
rival.
too.
Shade.
Yeah, there is. I mean, they're obviously in different conferences, but still,
Right.
I can't say I've ever personally rooted for my
Right.
fellow
Two
Pennsylvania
different sides of the
team.
state, different
Absolutely.
conferences.
They're
Cool to see the governor come out for that, right? The
very
whole
cool.
state.
Yeah, absolutely. It was
Making
definitely
it,
a long time coming, so pull out all
Philly.
the stops.
Now you wonder, and I think there'll be some live feeds of things happening with cleanup and just how it's going. But I'm curious. We didn't catch that whole thing live. I was just playing some of it, but maybe we can play it back. But officials were updating on just how the city lays today and what's happening and what they need to do. And I'm curious to see sort of if anything went awry. But
Yeah, I can only imagine a lot of people were still calling out sick though today.
true.
To be honest with you,
We're still hungover.
but here's the thing. I mean, it did wrap up rather punctually at 3:00, so there was a lot of time
Good point.
to kind
Good
of
wrap.
rest and recover. But based on
Yep.
the mood of a lot of the people that I saw, I didn't picture those celebrations ending anytime soon. Especially if they didn't have far to travel like I did.
Yes,
I
you
would
did.
have happily stayed if I could have.
And it's a good distance. It's not bad. That bus from DC
No,
to
it's
Philly,
perfect.
it's easy
Yeah,
enough.
exactly.
2.5, right? Ish, hour
Exactly.
3. and it's doable.
It was a little longer yesterday because it took a little time to
traffic
get
and
out of
stuff.
the city since
Mhm.
everybody
For
was
some
trying to
reason, it
leave at
seemed
the
like
same time.
It's quicker to get back than it is to get there.
Usually, but yesterday was the
Think.
exception.
Glad you made it and you're okay and you got to work today.
Absolutely.
Easy enough.
I wouldn't have missed it. It was kind of the bargain that I made. I
Right.
would go up there, but I had to be back on Friday.
It's so great with those last minute days off. But he's right. It totally wrapped up punctually. We sort of slowly ended our stream. It was like perfect timing. But I know Fox 29 was like, we're staying on. We told you guys we'd stay on until 6:30 or something. So they were kind of just talking over what was happening. And there was whenever there was a moment, there was a flyover, there was something to just chat about.
And I just, right before I walked over here, watched the opening to Fox 29's Good Day show this morning.
Today, what'd they do?
Mike Jarek, who's their main anchor,
Yeah.
Also wore a mummer's
dressed up
costume,
as, I think I saw it
and
on
he
Facebook
walked around
somewhere.
the newsroom basically doing his own version of Jason Kelsey's speech, saying,
did.
everyone thought
Did he
Alex
say-
would never be a great
Here
anchor.
is.
There
Yeah.
it is.
Did you watch the opening? I'll just
I
play it in the
did.
background.
It's tremendous.
Does he use any profane language?
No, he does not. It was broadcast on their air, so it was clean.
All right, we're trusting you now.
This is the mother of This was him.
This was him walking
funny.
around the newsroom.
And they did that as their opening?
Exactly. Saying everyone had doubted their executive producers, their producers, their anchor team. So it was a nice little riff on what was definitely one of the highlights of the show yesterday.
And you know this as a producer, like going around the newsroom is kind of a cool behind the scenes look.
Absolutely. I will say also, this was my own personal takeaway from it. So the main bus, the first bus that Doug Peterson was riding on, and that was the same bus that Nick Foles and Carson Wentz was on. Mm-hmm. That was the lead bus, and obviously, the lead bus is definitely going to get the biggest cheer because everyone's been waiting to see it pass. It's got the Lombardi trophy, so everybody went crazy for that moment. Nick Foles waving everybody, Carson Wentz waving everybody. I mean, those are two guys, obviously led this team to this victory. The second bus, though, that was more like the party bus.
Okay.
And, again, the spirit of Philadelphia type of a thing. Mm-hmm. They got, if not an even louder, equally as loud cheer because it was Chris Long right out at the front. These guys in the first bus, they were definitely respectful, enjoying it, taking it all in. The other guys were just there to party.
As you could tell in the picture.
They were just there to party. And shout out to Chris Long. I've loved him. I worked in Charlottesville. My first job was down at UVA area, so Chris Long was on the team then. He got drafted by the Rams, obviously had a good career with them. He was on the Patriots last year, won a Super Bowl with them.
So you've been a fan back then.
I've been a fan, absolutely. He's always just been, Howie Long's son, but he's got the Allen Iverson old school jersey on, the full-length fake fur coat. I mean, he just...
Great shots.
He got
you weren't playing no games.
Also, I don't know if you can tell right about here. That looks like an empty bottle of Crown Royal right there on the front too.
I was gonna say on the stream, on the commentating, Alex Holly definitely mentioned that.
Yeah, so he was having a good time too.
That's awesome.
So those guys had a blast.
So good. Well, thanks for that recap, Chris.
Absolutely, I appreciate it.
So good.
Thanks for letting me join.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
appreciate it.
it's good to hear from straight from the source about yesterday's parade. And if we have anything else come in that's sort of a recap or a wrap up of what's going on in Philly, we'll bring that to you guys live. All right, we'll be back.
Thank you.
Be right back, guys.
I looked out from the Art Museum steps and saw people from all walks of life united by their love of this team and their love of the city. So I want to say thank you to everyone who made yesterday so special. Fans from all over our region and across the country came out to support our Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. That's a phrase I'll never get tired of saying, Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. It takes a lot of people to make sure that these events run smoothly. Some of the individuals work day and night to plan this parade in a very short time. I want to express my gratitude to all the city workers who helped make this parade a huge success. There were so many different staff members involved, including the Office of Emergency Management, the Office of Special Events, the Fire Department, the Police Department, Parks and Rec, Public Property, and many more. Parks and Rec folks have been working to repair the impact on the parkway, and Public Property worked tirelessly setting up and breaking down the barricades throughout the route. I would like to especially thank the members of the Philadelphia Police Department. They did an exceptional job yesterday keeping our city safe with the unprecedented crowds that were present. And I've been looking at social media this morning, and the kudos that people are giving to our police for the way they treated people, the way they interacted with folks, just really helps our city overall, not just in this event, but just in the general view. Yes, as you know, we had some incidents and injuries, but with a crowd that probably dwarfed any other single event in Philadelphia history, the number of issues is really quite small. Police Commissioner Ross, he's here, can give more details about yesterday, but I will say I've never been more proud of the men and women of the Philadelphia Police Department than I was yesterday. Their hard work ensured that Philadelphia looked great yesterday in the eyes of the nation and the world. Also, a shout out to the hard-working folks at SEPTA. Jeff Kneppel and his team developed a plan that ensured safety in face of overwhelming crowds. And a huge thanks to the hard-working men and women of the Streets Department who moved in as soon as the parade was over to tackle the enormous cleanup operation. They worked overnight and into the morning to ensure that the parkway would be open for the morning rush hour and that the city would look beautiful. Also want to thank the entire Eagles organization for making this possible. Yesterday was a day we've long dreamed about. They are the champions, and their accomplishments will forever be part of the rich history of Philadelphia sports. It was a special parade and a special day that we will all remember for a very long time. As mayor of this incredible city, it makes me so proud to see hundreds of thousands of fans express their appreciation for this team and to show their Philly pride. And for the most part, the fans did their part to make the city look great. Hopefully we'll have more championship parades in the years to come. And I want to thank everybody again for yesterday. It was just a beautiful day all in all. And I mean, it was a little cold, but the sun was out, and it was just wonderful. So I'd like to ask Fred Stein to come up and just give you a little rundown on some other things.
Good morning, everyone. Just to give you a quick recap from our standpoint, what you saw out there was the recap. It's real simple. You know, when you look at the details and the logistics of the parade, the actual parade kickoff was at 10:58 a.m. So we had hoped to be 11, thinking it would kick off at 11:30. It began at 10:58. So it was at Broad and Patterson, and that's where the fun began, because a couple of the players decided it's not enough to be on top of the great big bus float, that they had to get out and greet the crowd. And that's when the fun began, and it made it so much the better. And as it, in our minds, didn't delay it as much as made it that much more exciting. What we try to do is to keep moving, to allow everyone to be a part of it. And that, in fact, is what happened. We had some confetti trucks that were to be a surprise just because we were shooting confetti off throughout. And a lot of people had expressed concern that, oh, why wouldn't it be a ticker tape parade? So we made sure we had the confetti along the way. So as we moved on to the Parkway, it was, you know, for I think the participants, very well received. It was interesting. We only lost more than one Porta-John, but we lost one Jumbotron. Some fans climbed up on it and decided to topple it over. So just a minor little thing. The actual end of the parade began with the ceremony, and it was very exciting for everyone, we thought. And it was a nice, large crowd. We've been told that there are varying numbers in how many people, and glad to hear your input on that. But the actual ceremony at the Art Museum went off just as we had hoped. A lot of people asked if we had actually scripted a couple of those remarks, and no, we did not. And so essentially, it was a great team effort. And this is something that, you know, we have to stress. It's not one person, one organization. My colleagues, Karen Homer, and my partners, Karen Homer and Neil Stein, yes, we were working 16, 18 hours, but so was everyone else. And, you know, we're constant contact with the managing director's office, with police, and then emergency management. It's what's amazing. It's behind the scenes as to how this happens. And there were hundreds of people part of the team, and we were the second team. First team was the Eagles, you know. So that's it for now, and I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Ross, because he was the coach of part of the second team.
All right, so good morning, everyone. First of all, we also want to thank all of our partners from the city. A lot of coordination goes into this. Can't say enough about all of them. You know, it's too many to mention, but we always thank our folks. Obviously, in the streets department, they have to do a lot for us and even put up with a lot. But goes without saying, our law enforcement partners from SEPTA, Pennsylvania State Police, Montgomery County, Delaware County, and Bucks County. Without them, we couldn't have done it, and that's just the bottom line. And obviously, to drill it down even further, the men and women of this department have never let me down. Have worked a number of parades and large-scale events over the last several years, a couple as police commissioner, and I got to tell you, I mean, the way they perform is just outstanding. I mean, the way they interact with crowds, and most importantly, the way they use restraint and discretion, which is critical when you're dealing with supersized crowds. I'm not a pundit on adding up numbers, but I will tell you that I did work the Phillies parade, and there were clearly more folks there yesterday, irrespective of what some people think the numbers are. I walked from that art museum all the way down to the stadium and back, and there were nothing but people everywhere. And so to be able to have that type of event with those numbers, and to have, as the mayor said, some small hiccups, you know, is remarkable in my estimation. And that's just because of the collaboration of everyone, not just Philly PD, everybody. And so I'm thankful to them. I'm thankful to all the people who attended, you know, who helped to make this a great celebration, because as with most, you know, is those people that help that thing to work the way that it does. So you got to celebrate them as well. With regard to some of the things that did happen, we made 2 arrests yesterday. One was for assault on police. That was where a female, one down in South Philadelphia, decided to rush onto the parade line and actually had to be arrested and decided to assault one of the police officers. No real injuries to speak of. And the second one was just an assault civilian to civilian. That was an arrest. We had 5 citations for disorderly conduct, minor things in nature. We did unfortunately have 2 stabbings that were reported, one of which was actually inside of a building, Liberty Place, so we weren't even present for that. Don't even know for sure if it had anything to do with this parade, because we have some information that the individual assaulted actually has been having some problems in the neighborhood with some individuals, so it's probably more related to a neighborhood situation. Still unfortunate. The second individual, a 25-year-old male, was assaulted around 2200 in the Parkway. All we can get thus far is that it was from a fight he was engaged in. Right now, he's not able to tell us exactly what happened beyond that. Not much on descriptions. Both are going to survive, fortunately. So at this point in time, we also had just a couple vandalisms, mostly to police cars. I should point out that this is preliminary information. We have to call all of our data to make sure that we don't have anything additional coming in, and it's reasonable to expect with something of this magnitude that that could be the case. But right now, there were 4 police cars that sustained minor damage, and most of it was, like everything else, people trying to stand on things for a better vantage point. So it wasn't significant damage, mostly to the hood. Clearly, we were able to discern they weren't trying to destroy the car as much as they were trying to get a better vantage point. So I'll turn it over to you, Dan, next, or? Okay, Commissioner?
Good morning. I certainly want to echo my esteemed colleagues' remarks about teamwork, and not just teamwork for us within the fire department, but also teamwork across all the partners that you see here. And of course, as he said, many more who deserve to be mentioned, but it's a very long list. And I have, in my career, certainly worked in a number of different places. I can tell you the teamwork here is absolutely second to none. Yesterday for the fire department, we had higher than average day, but still within the normal range for us as a busy fire and EMS department. We had 992 EMS runs across the city, 134 fire runs, 3 structure fires. What we could identify as being related to the event, we had 200 patient contacts and 54 transports. Now that's difficult to discern what was part of and what was not part of the event. We had innumerable patient contacts along the entire parade route. We had bike medics who were with the parade the entire time. Our special events response team was deployed, not just on the parkway, but again along the route, but truly a team effort with all of our EMTs, paramedics, firefighters, our special operations folks, our dispatchers, and again, the entire great team that you see here before you. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good morning, Dan Bradley, Emergency Management. I'd like to share a quick recap of what public safety operations look like for the parade. A lot of Philadelphia outsiders may not have seen this Eagles victory coming, but we certainly did, because we recognize their planning, preparation, and practice as a means to produce positive results. And OEM and the city's entire public safety team share those same values, and we absolutely attribute that to the success of yesterday's event. I want to thank all of you gathered here today for sharing the information with the public about Ready Eagles. I'd like to let you know that we were just shy of 100,000 subscriptions. That allowed us to push out to everyone attending this event 28 specific alerts about event information, mass transit locations, and other public safety information. And for those of you who did sign up and you live in the Philadelphia area, I strongly encourage you to continue your subscription beyond Ready Eagles by texting Ready Phila, all one word, Ready P-H-I-L-A, to 888-777. And that's going to give you the same level of service that'll allow us to share information about emergencies throughout the city, severe weather, mass transit. That again is our unified way to reach all of you. So thank you again for getting that message out. 2018 was supposed to be a relatively quiet year for OEM. For about the next, well, for about the past 5 years, about every month, 9 months, the city has handled substantially large special events. We feel that all of this work has helped prepare us as a public safety team to execute events, especially with the short notice of this parade, in good order, with good communication and good collaboration with all our partners. Yesterday really validated the value of all that pre-planning, and all of you are part of that success, and my thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Good morning. We'd like to congratulate the Philadelphia Eagles on winning the Super Bowl and also for yesterday's historic celebration. The Streets Department was proud to be a part of the event, and we were happy to clean up after such a massive, massive parade. Essentially, the cleanup operation went according to plan. As the parade commenced up Broad Street toward the Art Museum, our sanitation crews followed at a safe distance shortly behind, cleaning up block by block every street until each block was open. And this will allow us to effectively open South Broad Street by Thursday afternoon's rush hour. As expected, the massive crowds along the Art Museum and Parkway caused some delays, which made it challenging for us to access the area to clean the parkway right away. But we were able to access it yesterday evening around 6 p.m. and to begin cleaning up the parkway so that it would be open by midnight and well before the morning rush hour today. The cleaning operation continues. We are detailing around the Eakins Oval area where there was the large majority of the crowd gathering. A crowd of that size obviously left a tremendous amount of waste. We are continuously working with all of our departments, including Parks and Recreation, the Department of Public Property. Also want to thank Commissioner Ross and the Streets Department for his assistance in holding down the streets while we were able to do an effective job. We'll continue that operation throughout the day. Well beyond the parkway, we'll go into the neighborhoods, especially where there was parade overflow, to address any street conditions that were left as a result of parade goers. The Streets Department, again, was pleased to be a part of yesterday's event. I can tell you the vast majority of our Streets Department employees are big Eagles fans, and they said that they were happy to work the long hours and short hours sleep to serve as such a historic event, and they will be excited to do it again next year. So congratulations, Eagles.
Good morning. I'm Scott Sauer, Assistant General Manager of Operations for SEPTA. And what a great week this has been for our city and our region. SEPTA is very proud to have played a part in getting fans back and forth to yesterday's Eagles championship celebration. And what a wonderful experience it's been for us to be part of. SEPTA's employees, of course, were the key to our efforts. Their hard work, long hours, and dedication were on full display throughout this process. We're extremely proud of the men and women that make SEPTA run. We've enjoyed tremendous support from our board chairman, Pat Dion, and the entire SEPTA board. And I'd also like to thank them for all their help. I'd also like to thank our general manager, Jeff Kneppel, for his leadership. Transportation plan for this event came with great collaboration, and I'd like to thank our partners from the City of Philadelphia, Upper Darby, and all the municipalities throughout the region. The main resources for getting people to and from yesterday's celebration were the Market Frankford and Broad Street lines. And we are very grateful to Independence Blue Cross, who sponsored free rides for our customers on those lines. SEPTA asked our riders to rely on these workhorses, and that effort was greatly aided by the fact that we could offer free and convenient transportation for them. In fact, we carried more than 395,000 customers on the Market Frankford line and Broad Street line yesterday. SEPTA carried out a plan designed to maximize service by consolidating our rail stops and running frequent service. We believe those plans and expectations we laid out for riders came close to matching what was done on the ground. We thank our riders for paying such close attention to our travel recommendations. Of course, we'll examine all the facets of our operations and improve service for major events like this, especially next year. We're proud of the fact that we moved so many people yesterday without any serious injuries. We did unfortunately have one medical case at Jefferson Station at the going home portion of the trip. This caused some delays on regional rail, but we recovered. I'd like to reiterate how wonderful it's been for SEPTA to be part of this world-class celebration. We've partnered to host a number of major events in recent years, and of course we're looking forward to more, and particularly looking forward to more service plans for more championships. Thank you. Tom?
Good morning. I apologize for being a little late. While I don't want the joy to end, I'm also trying to get myself back into the real world. And I guess I realized we went into all this planning for this massive 5-mile parade, but I guess really all I needed to do was get a helicopter for Jason Kelsey and drop him on the Art Museum steps and let him go. So On behalf of Jeffrey, Lori,
Hey guys, if you're just joining us, we're live in the DC newsroom here at Fox 5 DC, giving you this update. This was from just moments ago. Various officials in Philadelphia talking about yesterday's parade and what happened and how they're cleaning up their city, and if anything happened maybe that was under the radar that we didn't see, including some medical issues and some other things. But so far so good. It sounds like things have been generally good in Philadelphia, and they're cleaning it up from yesterday's celebration. So let's check in to finish out this press conference.
Streets Commissioner Carlton Williams, who I just saw your crew down at work there at Aikens Oval on my way in. And obviously our partners at SEPTA, Fred Stein and his entire team, and Gail Harity at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. I think it was an epic performance on an epic day, celebrating an epic victory and an epic moment for our city. And obviously, probably the biggest thanks goes to our fans, because that's why we do what we do. I think yesterday was a great illustration of why sports is more than a game. I got home last night, and because I actually tried to just soak in the moment of the several hours while I was on the Parkway, I watched the parade replay on our partner NBC 10, and I got to see Seth Joyner, and I thought Seth's remarks said it best. He said the game of sports is more than a game, it's a unifier. And yesterday you saw people from all walks of life, all ethnic backgrounds, all ages, from little babies who I was concerned about because their parents were shaken up and down, to people of many generations. And then you read the article about people spreading the ashes of their loved ones who couldn't be with them physically and were there in spirit, including someone who flew 1,000 miles to spread the ashes of their pops. It moves you in a tremendous way. Words really don't do it justice. You have to look at the pictures because they speak 1,000 words, and I think yesterday they spoke millions of words. Sorry, that's my alarm. It was really incredible at every intersection from Broad and Patterson to the Art Museum steps. It was a fourth down roar the entire way. My ears are still ringing this morning. Everybody was happy. And that's pretty amazing. I know it's amazing for our entire organization. So thank you, Philadelphia. Thank you to city support services of all nature across the board. Thank you to our fans. I know our players are excited. I know we're going to get back to work. It's hard to believe that you have to say that we're getting back to work for the 2018 season, but we are. We love Philadelphia, and thanks very much.
Thanks, Don, and thank everyone here who spoke. And any questions? Yes. I mean, oh yeah, I think we had more people than the Trump inauguration, though. So I think it should be.
Thank you, Mayor. That's a difficult comment to follow. What I'll say is, based on our experience with other large events on the Parkway, we feel that it was well above 700, certainly below some of the higher numbers we've seen circulated through social media. But what I can say is our core mission during the execution of these events is focused entirely on the safety and security and operations. That leaves very little time for us to do accurate crowd counts. We're happy to look into it moving forward, but for us, really, the measure of success is not the number of folks that attend, but the quality of the experience that we provided, and we thought that yesterday was an overwhelmingly positive day. I think there's a lot of difficulty in how you do that counting. We tend to look at total throughput throughout the day of the event, so it depends at what time did you count. We did see tremendous movement in and out of the parade area throughout the day, so I think it's a moving target. but we do feel it's likely higher than 700,000. Instinct as well as aerial assets that we had keeping an eye on crowds. No, again, because those aerial assets are really focused on helping us identify problems on the ground, but we do have some data to work with. Yes.
Yep. No, we're still calculating that now. We probably will be a week or 10 days, maybe 2 weeks before we kind of put everything together, and we're having discussions with all those involved, and we will release something as soon as we have something accurate. No, there's no preordained formula. I wasn't mayor when the Phillies won. I got to figure out what the arrangement was with them. But we will be transparent and open with the number as soon as we have it. No.
Any conversation about Wi-Fi back over?
It was just people were. I mean, I'm not an IT expert, but people were streaming everything, and I just think that well, let me bring up an expert.
So again, the city, about 2.5 weeks out from the parade, planning in the background, met with our telecommunication partners, and really every single different cell phone carrier has different types of infrastructure throughout the city. We told them at that time where we could expect mass congregation. Those folks then went back internally within their companies to work with their own engineers and boost cell phone service. But again, that doesn't mean that we're going to have 100% coverage over the time. We did realize that we lost 4G for a little bit, but I think it's, again, the dynamics of how people use cell phones have been changing. We saw that in the people visit. Everyone wants to live stream now. And so our recommendation to folks attending that we gave at our last press conference was consider a text message instead of a phone call. There is installed hardware on the parkway to boost cell phone service. But folks may have seen some interruptions along Broad Street, and that's due to a number of factors. Broad Street is a bit of an urban canyon, and a lot of the boosting equipment we had to deploy, really we had to do so in a place that wasn't going to displace spectators, and so you saw that at Marconi Plaza as well as just north of City Hall.
Would you say there's a difference in Broad Street and the Parkway in terms of signal strength?
There is.
I don't know if it changed. I think it's like our process with the Amazon bid. I mean, we have all these assets and all these positives. We just didn't really realize ourselves how good we actually are. And I think that because of the years of drought of championship football, I think people realize how good it is and how good it is to win and how good it feels to win. So I don't think we've changed. I just think we're more kind of self-aware of what we're capable of as individuals and human beings, and to watch all those folks get along with each other and cheer each other on, and the players themselves help with that process. They're so authentic and they're so lovable and they're so approachable that and they also get involved so much in our community. I mean, if I'm looking at the things that Malcolm's doing and Chris, I mean, they're just really at the base of real people. And the time I spent with them yesterday, they're obviously, Kelsey's very authentic and they're very down to earth. But all of them are like that. And they're not full of themselves. And it's really wonderful to experience young men and their families who are exceptional players, are big stars, and they don't really look at themselves that way. They look at themselves, and that's why I think Philadelphians connect with them as they do, because they are authentic and down to earth. I loved it. I used to wear a costume like that every year for 35 years. I couldn't believe he had it on, but I got used to it. It was fun. And he is who he is, and we love him. And I think he talked about all those players and coaches that were all dismissed, and now they're champs, and everybody's got to eat some.
This might be a question for Commissioner Ross, but prior leading up to this event, any victories
There's the last and the those are putting from the aisle. So we're going to get cleaning up what we're focused on. Great.
I'm actually walking all the way over here to say I don't know. I mean, but because it's just too early to tell. I mean, so that's just going to take some time for us to get that together. All right.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, we learned in 2008 when the Phillies won that when the event emptied out, the crush of people in the subway made the subway practically non-operational. The other issue was that in order for to open up the lots, we would have had to police the lots. It would have taken about 300 or so officers out of Center City and out of South Philly to police the tailgating that would probably be going on in the lots. So I know it was inconvenient for some people, and I apologize for that, but operationally, SEPTA felt that they could actually move people better as opposed to having people all down in the subway at one time. Yeah, I mean, 300 officers is a big contingent, and you know, you'd have to control traffic. You'd have to police the lots themselves. The exit ramps at 95 had to be closed because the parade was starting from there, so you couldn't be mixing vehicular traffic with the buses and all the people who were watching the parade. So we just felt that it was operationally made more sense. Although it was inconvenient for people, I understand, and some people were disappointed. I looked at social media and I, had to block a couple people, but other than that, it was fine. Not at the moment. I mean, I think you can't put a price on the psychic benefit that we experienced, and that we can actually win well and win respectably and celebrate respectfully. So I'm sure we can try to figure out some number, but I mean, I'm sure the restaurants and bars did well. SEPTA was paid for already by Blue Cross. I'm sure there are a number of hotel rooms that were taken up as a result of the parade as opposed to normally. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure there was a positive impact, but psychically, you can't put a price on what yesterday meant for us as a city. I don't think anything. I think it pretty much went off without a hitch. I mean, there were some minor hiccups here and there, but I think in general, it was well done and well. I mean, when I looked out from the steps at the crowd, I could not get over. And that's the same thing with the crowd estimates. I mean, the Phillies estimate was 1 million plus. There were more people there than the Phillies parade, so it couldn't. The 700,000 number. I mean, I'm sure it's a reputable firm, but I probably think there was more than that. But I think there's odds and ends that we learn, and we'll apply them next year, God willing. But I don't think that much actually. Know what? Right. We're having conversation. We need to do a full accounting of what was spent and what the costs were, and then we'll have that conversation. But you can't accomplish that within one day of the parade. About 10 days or so, 2 weeks. Yeah. Citywide. That's the normal. I get the OEM text message in the morning, and it's in that range. And they do the EMS runs, and then fire, the actual fires or responses to fire calls. So it's a little higher, but in the same range.
Like I said, I'm just kind of getting myself back into the real world, so I'm taking one moment at a time. Right now, I'm savoring the moment from yesterday, and our offices are closed today, and we'll deal with everything down the road. But right now, our focus is just on getting through yesterday, enjoying that moment, savoring it for as long as I can, and getting back into the real world. Thanks. Not yet.
All right, guys, so a good summation there of yesterday's event, which apparently went off pretty much without a hitch. They were saying a few things that I don't think we knew, which is that the crowd estimate was actually a little bit lower than what people were sort of reporting online. And there was one medical issue they had to attend to, a couple other things in there, but really a lot less destructive, I think, than a lot of people thought. Pete, you're mentioning that people, about Philadelphians liking to destroy their city, and it's definitely sort of what we saw, at least in a lot of the video clips after their win. However, after this parade, things seem to be a little bit better than I thought. Like we mentioned, a little bit more of a family-friendly event in a sense. Granted, there was a lot of alcohol involved in revelry and whatnot. But overall, like I said, a good sort of conclusion to the recap of the parade. Now, I want to mention quickly, we're just getting some video in of a meeting that President Trump had unannounced in the Oval Office in the White House here with some supporters. Apparently, as we're being told, he does mention his now former staffer, former staff secretary Rob Porter, who is resigning his post due to allegations from two of his ex-wives of domestic violence. So he does have some comments on that. Let's go over to that playback. This is just coming in, and like I said, the pool, this was unannounced that he would be doing this, so let's listen in to see what he had to say.
His father, Donald, good name, was suffering and really on a pretty final path toward losing his life with cancer. Shane took the $10,000 and rather than spending it on himself, he gave it to his father. And his father went to a very good cancer clinic or hospital because he was at hospitals before and they didn't do so well. It was a bad result. And they did a fantastic job, and Donald is now cancer-free. And I think it's an incredible story where a son would give 100% of the money to his father, who he loves, obviously. 100%. He didn't say, because I said, how much did you give him? He said, all of it. I said, but you didn't have anything, and you gave all of it. His father then took the money, and because of some very good doctors and good talent, he is now cancer-free for 13 months. And they think they have it, right? It's in great shape. Donald, maybe you could just say a few words as to how that happened. That's an incredible son.
Yes, I have a very incredible son. The cancer was bad, and I did go to hospitals around my area, and it came across the TV, so I called them. I didn't have the money to go, and he came home and said, well, first I talked to Mr. Trump President Trump on the phone, and I couldn't believe it because he told me I had a cool name first too. And I said, so do you, sir. And he said he's going to take care of it. And he wrote my son a $10,000 check for him in his name. And when he got home, he said, Dad, I want to give you this check. And I said, he gave that to you. And he said, no. He gave it to me, but then I'm giving it to you. I'm sorry. It's very emotional because I've always told Shane and everybody I've talked to, no matter who it was, one day I wanted to come here or meet you somewhere, shake your hand, look you in the eye, and say thank you for saving my life. And I thank you, bottom of my heart.
I didn't know this full story. I just knew that Shane was somebody that really believed in what we were saying, and he he fought so hard to be at the inauguration that weekend. I didn't know too much about your father having the difficulty. I knew about you having a difficulty, but that you would go home and take that and give it to your father to try and recover from a prognosis which was really bad. This was bladder cancer.
Yes, sir.
A really bad prognosis. I just tell you, I think it's fantastic. And I heard that story, and I said, that's a story the world should hear about a great son. I didn't think you were going to be giving your money to anybody except yourself. So perhaps you might say a few words, Shane?
Yeah, I want to thank Mr. President for everything and blessings that he's done for me and my family. You know, my dad is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We started out in a trailer to a house, and when he joined the military, so I felt like it was my right to, you know, to give him that check. He deserves it for his hard work and the boundaries, and I just wanted to give back to my dad. So I was glad to give him that check, and so he could get the treatments that he needed.
Well, I just want to thank you, and I just think it's an incredible story. Very rarely do I hear a story like this. They were just coming in to say hello, and I didn't know much about the father. I just knew that we had a great supporter here. And when I heard, and now we have two, but I know we had two even before. But when I heard about the illness and the tremendous illness, incredible, incredible. Congratulate your doctors, and keep checking anyway. You know that, right? You keep checking anyway. But that is a tremendous story of the love of a father by a son. You just don't see it often. One of the beautiful things, I'm just sitting here, I'm saying, but how much did you give him? I figured to say, I gave him 5. He gave him the whole thing, just gave it. And this is at a time where Shane had very, very big problems, including family problems. So I just want to thank you both, Shane, Donald. I think it's an incredible story. Thank you. So it's a beautiful story. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. You have a comment on Mr. Porter? Thanks, guys.
Well, we wish him well. He worked very hard. I found out about it recently, and I was surprised by it. But we certainly wish him well. It's a obviously tough time for him. He did a very good job when he was in the White House, and we hope he has a wonderful career, and hopefully he will have a great career ahead of him. But it was very sad when we heard about it, and certainly he's also very sad. Now, he also, as you probably know, he says he's innocent, and I think you have to remember that. He said very strongly yesterday that he's innocent. So you'll have to talk to him about that, but we absolutely wish him well. Did a very good job while he was at the White House. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bill. Anything on the memo? Thank you, on the memo. Appreciate it.
It's going to be released soon.
Thank you very much.
We're going to release a letter soon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody.
So really interesting stuff there inside the Oval Office. President Trump commenting on his now former staff secretary, Rob Porter, who has been accused of domestic violence to two of Mr. Porter's ex-wives. Apparently, Trump here saying we need to take into consideration the fact that Rob Porter says that he is innocent, maintains his innocence, but he does wish him well, of course, upon exiting the White House. So some interesting comments there. A little longer answer than I thought actually we were going to get from that reporter question. All right, changing gears a little bit, guys. Did you know Chicago is expecting a good amount of snow this weekend? Winter storms, possibly up to 14 inches or so. I was reading some more about this, and this morning, just a little bit ago, Mayor Rahm Emanuel updated the city, along with some other officials, providing their storm response, what they're going to do, what the Office of Emergency Management and Communications will be doing to prep for this. Now, if you're in that area or you know the Midwest really well, you know how intense it can get, and apparently this weekend is that. Now, I am here in DC this weekend. As normal, we're expecting a ton of rain, which is such a bummer. I'm running a 5K on Sunday in the cold rain, so that's going to be interesting as well. But I'm going to try to bust through it, give you the report on that on Monday. But Chicago is faring a little bit worse. Let's listen into what they had to say to prep for this weekend snow.
Greater progress, but I want to make sure, top priority, people safety, whether that's on the streets and making sure the streets are plowed and passable, to whether that's homeless folks and making sure that they are not only from us, but also from Catholic Charities, whether it's also to our parents who kids are out of school today, but they should know our libraries are open throughout the city of Chicago. And that if at a certain point you want to make sure that the kids have access to the something else to do besides being at home, Chicago's public libraries, 80 of them across the city throughout the neighborhoods, are also going to be open. But we have a coordinated response at every level. We're fortunate as a city that we have this facility to bring not only all public agencies together, but also our utilities and other entities together to make sure that it's a coordinated and comprehensive in its response to different elements as the way they affect. Number one goal, safety. At every level we measure it, to making sure that the people of the city of Chicago, whether that's young kids, homeless, elderly, sick, commuters, in every capacity, we are responding and ensuring that people are able to handle this weather. The city of Chicago will handle this weather. Now, I do want to say, and I want to thank some individually early in the morning this morning, to making sure that the city is continuing to meet the weather and the weather patterns head on. I'm going to call on individuals to come up and respond on what they're doing, so you have a report, and also to make sure the public knows what they need to do. Now, in that effort, I also want to say, while we have each of the responses here, I want people to know we've made changes also. And one of the things that we saw years ago, a plow tracker on our snow plows. We also, so you could track where it was and where it was headed. And so again, it's all the information, making sure the public knows what's happening, what are the expectations. We not only have a pattern now of snow coming later this evening, later.
All right, you guys, I'm going to see if I can fix the picture on this for you to check back into this video. So give me a second, bear with me to jump into this. Unfortunately, the stream wasn't very solid.
Make sure that you take care of your own safety. If you're going out, make sure that you have the appropriate, have a warm jacket in the car, things of that nature. Many of our departments that we mentioned before are standing behind us and have been out all night long, to include Streets and Sand, many others, 911, 311 operators. We've plussed up the number of 311 operators. If you're in doubt and you know of somebody who is elderly and needs to be checked on, or someone with disabilities, please contact 311. In addition, if you are without heat, water, or you want to simply check on a loved one, we'd ask that you contact 311. We've plussed up the number of individuals that are there, and they're prepared to answer your phone calls. In addition, remember that not only is it the right thing to shovel your street, your walkways, but it's also the law. So we'd encourage you to do that. And if you see a hydrant that's being covered, if you would please help with shoveling around those hydrants in case we should have some type of a fire. Again, if you would like to have notifications sent to your mobile device, we do have an app for that. It's called Notify Chicago, that's all one word, .org. I will now be followed by the Commissioner for Streets and Sanitation, John Tully.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank the citizens for their patience. I think I said this yesterday, but this is a 4-day event, and it's been challenging at times. but together we're going to get through this. I want to thank all the city departments for this coordinated effort, and the mayor has assured that anything that we need to get this done and keep the streets safe has been provided to our department as well as the rest. Okay. So this is where we're at. We began the program at 2 p.m. yesterday. Between 2 p.m. and this morning, approximately 6 to 7 inches of snow have fallen on the city. We expect the snow to lighten up, although there will be some remaining snow for the rest of this afternoon. Okay, it's going to be between 1 to 3 inches, with the heavier amounts falling further south in the city. We'll have a period of dry time, and then again tonight we'll have another system pass through approximately 11 o'clock, and that'll run through the morning hours tomorrow, where another 1 to 3 inches could fall. And then we're going to have another system move through come Saturday night, approximately 1 a.m. In the morning, and run through 9 a.m. on Sunday morning, which is going to produce another 1 to 3 inches. So the duration of this program makes it very challenging, a big challenge for us, but we're up to that task. We have a lot of experienced workers, and I really have, right now we have over 300 pieces of salt spreading equipment that we've had dispatched since 10 o'clock last night. The other thing I wanted to tell the residents is that all the refuse will be picked up today. There may be some recycling that will be picked up on Saturday morning. So everything's going to be taken care of on the Streets and Sanitation Department side. So I just ask for.
I'm going to hear from Ms. McDade from CBS.
As you know, students
and operators on the airfields, that's both Midway and O'Hare, working around the clock from O'Hare, and things were running well. Today, as you may have heard, the airlines have proactively cancelled more than 700 flights at O'Hare, and approximately delays at O'Hare are between 30 and 45 minutes, and at Midway approximately 15 minutes. Safety, as the mayor pointed out, of course, in aviation is our #1 priority. We have this season invested in equipment both at O'Hare and Midway, bringing on new modern equipment in order to clean the runways and open them safely for both arrivals and departures. For those traveling today, to encourage to get to the airport, in order to get the best information, you really should contact your airline. That's the best source of information to get information on departures. We'd also recommend that you arrive, of course, 2 hours prior to a domestic flight and 3 hours prior to international. Thank you. I'm going to introduce Donald Bonds.
Okay. Donald Bonds from the CTA.
Good morning. I'm pleased to report that so far overall service is going well. We've been able to maintain normal service and just a handful of minor delays this morning. That said, this weather isn't over. We're prepared for the long haul over the weekend and any kind of weather that's their destination safely and as close to schedule as possible. CTA has a strong record of operating safe and efficiently during even snowstorms, sub-zero temperatures. CTA has comprehensive strategies, procedures, and contingency plans to continue to maintain service. To keep our trains moving, we have equipped all rail cars with sleet scrapers, snow plows, blades that are lowered to keep the electrified third rail cleared of snow, sleet, and ice. Many of our rail cars are also fitted with special equipment that is to distribute de-icer fluid onto the third rail before the heavy snowfall to keep ice from building up. Heaters to prevent service disruptions. We have also taken a number of steps to ensure our 1,800 buses are able to provide service. Before the winter begins, our fleet undergoes a thorough inspection process to prepare for cold and snow. This includes checking heaters, engine thermostats, batteries, tires, and more so that the buses keep running and are warm inside for our riders. Also, we are working closely with CDOT and Streets and Sand to gauge road conditions and implement necessary reroutes. On days like today, when we experience heavy snowfall, our Snow Command team is prepared to clear bus garages, rail yards quickly and efficiently as employees salt bus terminals, turnarounds, garages, and parks. And we have continued to coordinate closely with OEMC, other city departments to make sure our trains and buses are able to transport passengers. On days like this, we recommend to our customers that they check our website at transitchicago.com for service alerts, and if they have train times and bus times. We will continue to work with the departments and represent here today to provide dependable
centers during regular weekday business hours when temperatures fall below freezing. There are 6 regional community service centers operated by DFSS that double as warming centers, but they also provide other critical services to residents who use them. These community service centers are open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. One of our facilities, our Garfield Community Service Center located at 10 South Kedzie, is open on a 24-hour basis to connect families and residents to emergency shelters. We also have 21 senior service centers citywide that serve as warming centers during regular business hours for the exclusive use for Chicago seniors. On the weekends or during holidays when our facilities aren't open, there is still a network of city facilities such as police stations, libraries, park district facilities that are available to residents requesting warming centers. Our 311 operators have all of this information at any given time. So 311 is always the best number to call to find out about the closest warming center nearest you. We also work with service providers during extreme weather conditions to look out for any problems while delivering these services. If any of our residents, particularly our seniors, appear to be in distress or in need of assistance, our providers know how to promptly notify us so that we can quickly follow up and provide them with assistance that they require. In addition, the city performs our well-being checks when requested. We also engage homeless residents and encourage them to seek shelter. We are here to assist residents. The easiest way, again, to assist if you need to warm up, if you need a warming center, if you need to secure a shelter or arrange transportation to a warming center or shelter, and is readily available. Thank you.
I'm going to make one more comment, take 1 or 2 questions so we can all get back to work. I think it well-being. We talked about checking on elderly, those who are sick, our neighbors, and also making sure both public transportation, the roads are cleared in every capacity, and all the city services are here, and there's more departments here than actually spoke. I also do want to, I wouldn't say it's a shout out so much as remind people who plan on shoveling to also easy. If you're not feeling up to it, you also have to take precautions and necessary steps for your own health, let alone checking on everybody else in the neighborhood. We all know, we've read stories before from past snows where somebody, for whatever reason, is not in the best of health for doing that. So pace yourself. Again, safety is our #1 concern. Second,
this is a coordinated and comprehensive response, and we're going to all be on.
You guys are listening to the words of Mayor Rahm Emanuel there in Chicago, apologizing. I apologize for this feed. In fact, it was a little bit rough. I think the live camera that it was on earlier this morning wasn't coming in very clearly, but you saw the mayor and some other officials talking about the crazy weather, and you can see in the right corner of your screen there, that's a look as the flakes continue to fall in Chicago. Snowfall is likely through the weekend, and my good friend, my best friend from college, Caroline, who lives there, actually was just Snapchatting me some photos of the weather there. She lives in a tall high-rise apartment building in River North section of Chicago, and she was showing me these pictures where these couches usually lie on the rooftop, and they're completely covered in snow. She said it's the most the city has really experienced in the winter weather for the last few winters. And she was showing me a few pictures again from this higher angle, but she said she went on a routine sort of grocery run yesterday, and the lines at Whole Foods were like 20 minutes plus just to get regular items or stock up or anything, because people are really gearing up for the snowfall for the weekend. So she was saying it is continuing on through the weekend, expecting more inches of snowfall through Sunday even, and then accumulation even outside the city in the southern sort of outer skirts of Chicago. So you can see it's quite serious business even for a city that sees this all the time. She says that the couches from the rooftop were removed, but the sunken area where they were is covered in snow almost up to the ledge that dips off the high-rise over to the rest of the city, obviously. So she's in this big building. So again, we'll check in here to see if we can catch the end of this if it's not too jumpy with the stream, but some serious stuff going on in the Midwest for weather.
Be open on Monday. But the other, when you say dodge a bullet, look, the last two winters haven't been heavy from what is more reflective of what we have in our mind. We're trying to test it as a system. We're up to it, and every person, whether you're working streets and sanitation, plowing streets, public health, water, fire department, in every way, everybody's ensuring that people are safe. And that means from public transportation to the roads to your wellness, in case, God forbid, something happens. So I think we're there. We're and it's done. This is coming. And safe.
3 to 9 inches expected through Sunday.
You got to pay attention.
Inches, and as I said, between noon and 5 today, we could have another 1 to 3 inches. The higher amounts tonight, 1 to 3 inches. If you want to do the math, it's probably closer to a foot of snow after all 4 days. Okay. Well, and here's the one thing I forgot to say is that once the snow stops, tapers off, we are running with our full complement of snow plows. After that happens, we'll go into the residential streets, and I know that's a priority for a lot of people, including the mayor. So that's our intent, and we'll do that for the other 2 systems that'll come through.
All right.
So let me understand. So you'll be going to try to hit the side streets once you get a break. Is that
No, I mean there is going to be a definite break. So this afternoon, there's still a chance of 1 to 3 inches between noon and 5. There's going to be parts of the city won't be seeing anything. So where we can, during that period, we'll go to the residential streets. Hopefully it won't flare up. If that happens, like we do every other system that does that, we'll go back to the main streets because that's our priority.
For the obvious reason, police and fire, everything else, that's key. And again,